Friday night soccer in the USL Championship brings us to one of the league's newest markets in Lexington, Kentucky, as the newcomers clash with the champions. Veteran forward Marcus Epps has led Lexington into this new endeavor, and after a win last week, their fortunes might be looking up. For the defending champs and Colorado Springs, midfielder Zach Zandy, the Switchbacks are looking to regain that form from their title run. The USL on ESPN is next. You are watching the USL on ESPN. Tonight from Lexington, Kentucky, it's the newcomers to the USL Championship, Lexington SC, playing host to the defending champion, Colorado Springs Switchbacks. The standings in the Western Conference, both Colorado Springs and Lexington come in below the playoff line. A result for the Switchbacks, they'll move above it. Lexington will move just a little bit closer. Welcome into Lexington SC Stadium with Devin Kerr. I'm Josh Eastern. Both Colorado Springs and Lexington coming in off of wins a week ago. Now as we get into this summer, how can they carry this momentum into the rest of the season?
Any manager will tell you that when they come into the year, Josh, pen to paper, 10 to 12 games. That's the idea of what they're going to figure out what they have, but then you have to adjust. So when we start with this Lexington team is built about ball dominance. They want to make you shapeshift across the field, want to make you feel uncomfortable, and they do it as the second most efficient team in the league. The problem is those results haven't really translated into the final third, and defensively they've struggled due to injuries. Now, both of these teams had to adjust, I said, right? How have Lexington done that? Well, number one, they've gone out into the transfer market, got a couple of loanees to give them some bite on the attacking side of things. The build isn't the problem here. It's 30 yards and in where they need to be more clinical.
And right now, Lexington, their leading goal scorer, Marcus Epps, only has 3 goals. But for Colorado Springs, they go about it in a bit of a different way as we go ahead of the curve.
The absence of the 9 productivity overall has been a conversation for Colorado Springs for quite some time. Now, they're really struggling with depth. Instead of trying to create it with more 9s in the transfer market, they decided, you know what, we're going to get rid of it altogether. They're playing a false 9. What does that do? It moves the 9 away from the center backs. In turn, it draws players out of position, and it disrupts the overall defensive shape. You see them a lot more touches together in the final third, but regularly, Josh, 40 yards and in, 6-7 players in the conversation to move this back line in their benefit. It's not always going to be that striker on the back shoulder. Instead, you're going to see a lot more combination play, inversions from the outside. The change, 3 games back. And while certainly the statistics are benefiting them, and yes, the results are following, the biggest jump you are going to see is at the bottom of the graphic. Defensively, how much they've benefited from. The key emphasis from James Chambers, we need goals, but we got to be better on the back line. They've done that almost half a goal against better over the last 3 matches.
We are getting set for first kick tonight. The newcomers to the USL Championship in Lexington, the defending champions in Colorado Springs. The first ever matchup between the two sides. We'll have lineups and first kick on the way.
10 count on the first one, please. On both, actually. Yep.
Hello, hello. Oh, you mean on this?
Yeah, go ahead. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm happy if you're happy.
Brown sugar over chocolate. What was the line?
Poverty Pop-Tart.
Poverty Pop-Tart.
Lexington getting a big win last week, ending a 13-game winless run in all competitions. Their last win was in mid-March in the U.S. Open Cup. Sofian Jafal scoring in the 67th minute. Xavier Zenge scoring just 6 minutes later. That was the winner. And Lexington, a massive getting things.
Recognition by Terry Boss that he doesn't have to change because of the results that were. Now understand, this is shape-shifting. They defend 4, they build 3, they overload the width. To me, this is about what the 10 does tonight, how much he pressures the back line, and also getting as many reps as possible in front of Adedokan and Forster Jago up top of the 9 on the width.
For the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, getting a 1-0 win at home. They had to wait a little bit. There was some weather, but once the weather passed, boy, Marco Micheletto picking out the top corner here. A beautiful goal. It was the lone goal in the game. And for Marco Micheletto, his 4th goal of the regular season. Although something you'll see in the starting lineups for head coach James Chambers, there is no Marco Micheletto, nor on the bench.
Still got plenty of bite, though, within this lineup, Josh, and an understanding that for James Chambers, they're a little bit less predictable, specifically on the outside back positions with Isaiah Foster, Hakeem Ward. Love what I've seen out of Aja Rocha. He allows this midfield to go explore up high, and that's what you want to keep. Anthony Fonterman and Yosuke Hanya, they love to attack on the channels and darting in.
Sunny skies in Lexington, Kentucky, 82 degrees, and we are set to go. Our referee this evening is Alex Billiter. She has the whistle. Colorado Springs in blue. It's Lexington in black. There is the whistle. We are underway tonight from Lexington, Kentucky. Lexington SC and the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. As we build this matchup, the first ever meeting between Lexington and Colorado Springs, the newcomers to the league in Lexington SC against the defending champions in the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Lexington in their 3rd season of existence overall after 2 seasons in USL League One. They didn't make the playoffs either year in League One, although Brooks Thompson in goal, he has plenty of experience winning in USL League One a few years ago with North Carolina. But this is a Lexington side that basically had to reshape their entire roster. We talked to head coach Terry Boss this week, and he said it's taken some time for this team to come together. But as we saw with some of those numbers in the Open, things are really starting to come around, even if the results haven't quite gotten there. As this ball trickles towards the end line, all the way out of play, it'll be a goal kick now for the Switchbacks. As for Colorado Springs, they come in 3 wins in their last 5 in all competitions, unbeaten in their last 3. Although they've only scored 1 goal in each of their last 5 games. Looking for some of that goal scoring to come around, but as we talked about, this team has locked things down a little bit more defensively as of late. A clean sheet last week against Oakland. Christian Herrera, since he's come back into goal, he's posted 3 clean sheets so far this season. Yosuke Hanya now for the Switchbacks. Has Foster on the overlap. Foster puts this in towards the top of the 6. Tries to lay this one off now. Ball moving quickly, and the shot is just wide. A great start here for Colorado Springs in nearly an opener inside of 2 minutes.
Exactly what we were talking about in the lineup in the Open. Now you'll switch with Herman and Hanya, but notice how he holds his run up, holds that outside defender to allow the overlapping run to develop from Isaiah Foster. You don't need a target 9 in this situation. The field's compressed. What you're looking for is proper movement off the ball. Great representation down underneath. Just the kiss of death for Aiden Rocha.
A week ago, this was a Colorado Springs side that outshot Oakland 17-5, including 6-1 in terms of shots on goal. So the chances have been coming for Colorado Springs, much like they have for Lexington. It's just both teams have struggled with that final product, that final touch to put it over the line. Touch here for Christian Herrera as the Switchbacks now look to build out. Going to come right through the middle as it goes from right to left. Here is Isaiah Foster's first season back with the Switchbacks after a couple years with FC Cincinnati and FC Cincinnati 2. Another switch of play, looking to come down this left side. That's where they found that first opportunity in the opening couple of minutes. Trying to turn the corner here. It's a whistle and a free kick on the way. Anthony Fontana putting pressure on this back line, and a set piece coming for the Switchbacks.
It's a good little look, though. Nice pocket presence from Anthony Fontana. This is what you get out of a creative midfielder who recognizes where the pressure's coming from. I'm not so sure how much contact is actually in this, Josh, to be fair. But still, the manipulation overall of both just in behind the midfield for Lexington and specifically right in front of that back line twice now inside of 5 minutes that we've seen quality ball movement. 25 yards and in for the visitors.
Herman standing around this along with Anthony Fontana. This might favor the right foot of Fontana. A four-man wall in front of Thompson in goal. Herman runs away. This will be Fontana! Rings the woodwork. Nearly, but not quite for the Switchbacks. A great early look. And now trying to put this ball back into the middle. Lexington able to get it away. And Key Moore nods it forward again. And the Switchbacks, two big early opportunities here in Lexington. They're able to regain possession, reset things even after that set piece. Switch of play, looking out wide. Juan Tejada keeps this on the deck. Blocked there at the near post. Kendall Burks getting in the way, but back to that free kick. What a look from Anthony Fontana.
And nearly. I mean, he puts such a good move on this ball. It comes right across it. Has the goalkeeper beat, to be fair. This is another benefit that you get for James Chambers with the idea that you aren't going to play with an out-and-out 9. 6 separate players that are on the field right now that would fancy themselves as dead ball specialists. Anthony Fontana, no slouch in that conversation.
Fontana, his first season with the Switchbacks after a spell in Europe. Long time, Philadelphia Union Academy. In-swinger on the corner kick. Looking for Clegg in the middle. Now taken on the volley. And that was taken cleanly by Fontana. Carrying out of play. It'll be another corner kick. How about the Switchbacks starting on the front foot tonight?
Starts to lure you in a little bit. Have to make sure here for Lexington with the sustained pressure that you still have the presence up high. Again, so clever with the ball at their feet in terms of overall form of breaking opponents down. Not goals, but chance creation. Colorado Springs right at the tipping point of that in USL Championship play right now. Quite coy.
Another in-swinger. Lifted right into the middle. Thompson has to go with his fist. He punches it away. Ward has to move it forward again. Another chance to get a shot away. Herman blocked. And now looking for a chance to run. Good pressure there by Herman as it's won back again. Fontana weaving. Anthony Fontana drags the shot wide, out for a goal kick. A number of good chances in the early going for the Switchbacks and Fontana. Head coach for the Switchbacks, James Chambers, has to love this start. He said, we want to find those consistent attacking moments. He said, right now, we're not a finished product, but he talked about last year and everybody hitting the high marks that they did. He said, that's really been the biggest quote-unquote hangover. He didn't want to use that word, but it's tough to replicate those levels that these players got to a year ago.
Didn't want to use it, but said it 3 times in 30 seconds.
He did.
think about it this way, right? For all the talk that has been success of certain teams over the past couple of seasons, you could look at the Charleston Battery, you could look at Louisville City, those types of teams that have kind of been the standard bearer, so to say. What's the one thing that none of them have? They don't have a title. Colorado Springs does. So it doesn't necessarily matter what your body of work is over the course of the season. You have to hit the highest level achievable when it matters most. And Colorado Springs has found a way to do that over the past couple of years. It started with Brendan Burke, then into Stephen Hogan, who makes his way into the front office, and now certainly James Chambers on the sideline. The biggest conversation for them, we could talk about their attack, you know, how they've sort of revolutionized their roster, Josh, to go and achieve results. To me, it's about health. Just getting bodies on the field available for selection, which for the better portion of 2 months, ability to do so. He was piecing these lineups together and struggling for overall results.
As we've seen over the past few years in the USL Championship, just because you win the Shield does not mean you're going to run the table in the playoffs and bring home the trophy at the end. We haven't just seen that in the USL Championship, really across the sports landscape. It just shows how tough winning a title is going through the playoffs after a long regular season. It's been all switchbacks here to start, on the ball early and often in this first ever meeting between Colorado Springs and Lexington. Again, back for Herrera, and the attack starts again. Clegg looking to go over the top and right into the waiting arms of Brooks Thompson. Lexington side that has struggled to score multiple goals. They did it last week against New Mexico. Jafal and Zenge, 2 goals inside of 6 minutes. They only scored multiple goals twice during that 13-game winless run in all competitions. It has really been what has held them back so far this season. 2 wins, 6 losses, 5 draws through this regular season so far. He added a couple of Jaeger Cup games as well. A team in Lexington that is still looking to come together with so many new players in this first year in the championship.
Well, I talked about changing right in the open and trying to find a way to move players around that best fit your need. I thought the biggest takeaway in that game against New Mexico, the win, I might add, Josh, wasn't the scoreline. It was that they did it with so little of the ball. This is a team that dominates ball possession, and they gave that up for success. Now
a cross coming in, the header dug out by Foster. Jafal nods it out wide. Lexington finally get a chance to look into the attack. Midense lifts it in again, taken on the volley, and the shot is put wide. Decent opportunity there. Marcus Epps in Lexington.
Some of the growing pains they're going through on the attacking side here between Adedokan and Forster Jago is recognizing the movements of their counterparts. Marcus Epps is one of those. So in the opening 10 minutes, much too close together. He did a really good job here. He recognized that on that near post run for Jago, he pinches off to the backside. The back line starts to drag with him, and then all of a sudden that space opens up. That's what Terry Boss, head coach of Lexington SC, is looking for. This isn't about quality of players right now for him. This is about trying to get everybody on the same page to establish a real consistency of rhythm.
Talked about in that game against New Mexico last weekend, we found a way to reward ourselves. I was happy with pretty much everything for the most part. Although, as you talked about, not as much possession in that game, and yet they come out on the right side of things. Clegg trying to step forward, hands it off for Ward. Tony has to recover. Here's Zach Zandy, rolling it forward. Foster. And a giveaway. Midense looking for some options. He'll play it back. Here's Burks. Lexington will look to keep some time on the ball. Again, there's that pressure from the switchbacks. Lexington trying to pass right through it, and it's turned over. Foster slips again. And the ground was Rocha, nothing on. Now this played into space. And here comes Zenge. A goal last week. Zenge looking in field, back post, score! Forster Ajago on the board for Lexington, and against the run of play, it's 1-0.
As they narrow Alfredo Medense here, they've lost a little bit of the shape on the inside, so much more ground coverage. But really well done this time, read perfectly by Nick Firmino. Notice his head up the entire time. He's not just looking to win here, he's trying to stretch the game immediately. Perfect understanding between he and Zenge. Down into the channel, good first touch, sets himself up to bring it right across the doorstep. Could have cut it back across the 18 near the penalty mark instead. An absolutely perfect run to the back post for the Bear. Forster Ajago continues to make waves here in Lexington. 2 goals, 5 matches, the lead, and they keep rolling.
This is why Ajago was brought in here to Lexington on loan from Real Salt Lake. He had scored twice with RSL so far this season. Getting some more time now in Lexington. His career with Lexington did not start off on the right note. He played only 50 minutes against Louisville and got sent off in that game. He then scored in that first appearance back, and now, as you mentioned, 2 in 5 for Ajago.
A good little tidbit to take away from that as well, Josh, understanding that as they move forward, just the last bit of space, Colorado Springs is going to gamble. And if you think back to the conversation you and I had with Terry Boss, what did he say? We want to get off the sideline. We want to be able to win that central battle, kind of bait them a little bit. That's exactly what you get. Isaiah Foster comes high. They try and be aggressive on the outside. They win that first ball. That allows Zenge to spring free. That's the formula that he presented to his team in the lead up to this match.
Pressure again in the middle from Lexington. Everything was going the way of the Switchbacks early. A few missed passes, and all of a sudden Lexington is up 1-0. And now it's Hania trying to turn the corner, cutting it in field. Some good defensive work there. And Lexington able to win this one back. Jago just a bit too much there. And Rocha brought down at free kick.
Certainly no doubt that even in the absence of goals for this team, work rate wasn't going to be a question. One of the key assets that man right there, the Ghanaian Forster Ajago, on loan from the Real Salt Lake organization in MLS, is going to bring. He'll play up high. He'll be that thorn on the side of the back line against opposition, but he will work down underneath. Quite appreciative of his efforts, Terry Boss is.
Another set piece opportunity. Rocha standing over this. Lindsay Herman, another option, and this will be Herman. Couldn't beat the first man, headed away. And collected by Akeem Ward. And battling through the middle, Zandy trying to play in behind, broken up by Epps momentarily. A whistle here, and it's a free kick going the way of Lexington.
Certainly a high line. How Lexington were looking to attack this as he comes, and you have to find a way to pinch back over there. Matt Mahoney, Tyler Clegg, just so much space for them to cover, especially with Marcus Epps and Forster Ajago bearing down.
The assist on that goal going to Xavier Zenge, and we were talking to Terry Boss about Zenge this week, and he had a great story for us, saying that when Zenge came into the club, he was not really part of the 18. He wasn't traveling with the team, and then through training sessions, he started to gain more confidence, put in good performances in those training sessions, and he said he told the team when he was going to put Zenge into the starting lineup for the first time that he's never done this, that a player wasn't even on the bench before he went in the lineup. He wasn't even in the squad before he went into the 11. Impressive what Zenge has done.
I can tell you even more so because Terry Boss is a creature of habit. Understanding that even back to his time at Oregon State, this is a guy who found what he liked and stuck with it. And he did reference the fact that his sort of changeability, right, within the style of which they're looking to attack the opposition. You know, they've got their pillars of success. Here are our morals, here are our values, how we're going to build with each other, the intangibles, right, the non-negotiables as coaches call them. But within that, his actual ability to be more understanding that change is necessary, that his personal growth has allowed this team to start to expand its horizons where, you know, first couple of games in the season, they found success, but maybe not necessarily the same growing curve that they're going through right now.
Almost 20 new players into this Lexington side this year. You knew it was going to take time. Teams, we've seen teams come up from USL League One into the championship. North Carolina was a great example. You bring in a bunch of new players, it doesn't always click right at the beginning. But maybe as this season goes along, you could see Lexington move up the standings. 4 points separate Colorado Springs and Lexington coming into play today. Lexington is at the bottom of the Western Conference, but as James Chambers said, anyone can beat anyone in the Western Conference, and that has really held true this year. Here comes Lexington again. Driving forward. Trying to turn this one back. Stood up into the middle. Ajago just trying to get something on it to turn it towards goal. And he goes down here. Ajago scoring that goal just moments ago. And now holding his head.
Certainly wasn't a ton of contact in it. I wonder more so if it's just on the way that he moves, just pinches something a little bit. You notice someone on that backside just sort of turned his head, tweaked. Could be a little stinger, been there before. Kind of reverberates throughout the entire body. Takes you a moment or two to get back to it.
Jago down, getting work done, it looks like on that neck. James Chambers now. It was a brilliant start for the switchback side, hitting the crossbar on a free kick, getting another couple opportunities going just wide of the post. Now all of a sudden they find themselves down 1-0.
But also the conversation now that the balance has to be there, right? As aggressive as they were and established real dominance up high, good ball movement, they struggled transitionally in the space in behind. And that's one of those ones where, from a communication standpoint, you're looking around, Josh, saying, okay, if Foster goes on that goal, right, if he comes, you got to pinch over quicker. So that initial outlet ball isn't even available. Turnover or not, you cannot allow a 40-yard ball to get in. Then the next step would be, okay, let's assume it happens. You pinch slower, the backside, all the way on the far side of the field. It's called weak side support. You then have to come in late. They didn't really get any of that. So transitional defending, topic of conversation for them. He's got to be happy overall on the ball and the way that they moved it up high, though.
Jago back on his feet, walking off the field. Looks to be good news for Lexington as he tries to continue on. A drop ball here for Christian Herrera at the back. The USL on ESPN2. Watch June 25th as two teams on the rise battle it out on the field. Surging Indy 11 take on a Tampa Bay Rowdies team working hard to turn their season around. Wednesday, June 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. A couple of teams here in the Western Conference. That game will be a couple of teams in the Eastern Conference. Right now, Indy right on the playoff line. Tampa Bay a little bit below the playoff line. A couple teams maybe similar to these two as they look to surge into the summer.
The Rowdies just got their first league win since March 22nd. 2 wins in 3 now in all competitions when you include that result over South Georgia Tormenta. Jaeger Cup. Any
deliveries on your doorstep from the sponsor, by the way? I put out a note to the front office, USL HQ. Still no love.
Yeah, still looking for
Funny how that works.
Probably got lost in the mail. The Jaeger Cup has been a fun addition. It started last year with just USL League One teams, so Lexington got a taste of it a year ago, and now it's expanded to USL Championship and League One teams. The Springs looking into the attack once again. Trying to get end line here. The cross coming in, back post, nodded away. Jago tracking back, just trying to keep the ball. Now it's played over the top. Firmino couldn't move that ahead. Colorado Springs able to reset here at the back with Mahoney. Here's Mahoney. Almost one too many touches there. Jago bearing down. Just a little bit of pressure to give Colorado Springs something to think about as they play out. Rocha. Now Tyler Clegg swings it around for Akeem Ward. Switchbacks looking forward again. Down the line and cleaned up by Sargent. Sargent lost his footing. Vermont putting some pressure on. Sargent nearly made a mess of that. It's a throw and going to Colorado Springs. Clegg again looking for that line-breaking pass. Just a small touch on it. That was enough to turn it over. Now Lexington will look to keep the ball. It's two teams so far tonight. We haven't necessarily seen them out in transition, although that goal was a ball out into space for the home side. They'll work this right side once again. Densey surveying and switching the point of attack. Driving forward again, right at Akeem Ward, turning the corner, trying to put it in a dangerous area. Nothing on. Clegg looking to clear. And there's Yosuke Hanya. Foul here, and it's a free kick going to the Switchbacks. Joe Hafferty. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish-language sports network. Oakland Roots face off against Detroit City on July 5th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. It's been great to see Oakland playing at the Coliseum this year, such a famous venue in that town, and how they have really made it their own. Another whistle here and another free kick coming for the Switchbacks.
I actually don't mind this. The main change here is Anthony Fontana's come a little bit deeper. You're going to see this throughout the match where Juan Tejada then becomes the point man. Kendall Burks has done it 2 separate times. He's sending a message that you've got a shadow over that back shoulder. Good physical presence to give you something to think about coming across the middle.
Hanya surveying. I'll play this one back again. Mahoney. Zach Sandy finding a pocket of space. Moves it out wide for Juan Tejada. Here's Tejada again. Tejada going right through the legs, trying to regain his balance. Nothing doing there for the Switchbacks. And Lexington will look to clear. Tejada gets a deflection on this one. It's out of play. And remember, the Switchbacks, now without their leading goal scorer in league play in Justin Dillon, announced this week that he has departed the club due to personal reasons. led the team so far this year with 5 goals, added another assist. Very experienced striker in this league. Now they're without him as we go back to kind of some of that talk in the open about that false 9 situation and the different look in the attack for the Switchbacks. In the meantime, it's another whistle here and a free kick coming.
I also respect the idea here that they, A, had an understanding that something like this might be coming, but B, they're not jumping to any conclusions to go chase another body out in the transfer market, Josh. They have a real solid foundation here in Colorado Springs. When the brain trust that started a couple of years ago, Alan McCann, James Chambers, Stephen Hogan, and of course Brendan Burke came west from the Philadelphia Union organization, they planted seeds. Now certainly the biggest fruit we saw bear was last year with the title, but they're not willing to disrupt that overall flow. They're not going to go get a 9 to just come in because they think they need goals immediately. They've already found that in the past couple of matches. Now it's about, can we replicate this short term? Is this the vision of what we're going to try and do long term? More importantly, if we decide to go get a 9, I'm sure they're going to, will he fit in with the group that's already in place?
Free kick taken low, deflected out of play. It'll be a corner kick on the way for the Switchbacks. And that last point was the key point from James Chambers.
Yeah.
We're not going to go out and just try to find someone who may not fit the locker room. We're going to be very specific in what we want.
Messaging that we have heard the most from easily the most talked about managers, and success that has then followed within their respective clubs. Your Louisville Cities, prior to this year, Tampa Bay Rowdies, Sacramento has been involved in that conversation, right? Neil Collins, Danny Cruz, you can throw all the big names out there. That is, it feels like a constant part of their sermon of what they're trying to depict to the nation.
Outswinging ball, headed away towards the top of the area, taken, big deflection on it. Brooks Thompson was a spectator as again Anthony Fontana got his laces through it.
That's the second one that had glory written all over it. Anthony Fontana puts another really good move on this ball. Watch the way he drops that left shoulder. Boom, just right at the end, undercuts it, allows himself to try and catch it a bit more even keeled. To be fair, from that angle, in for the opposite corner, doesn't catch it as square as it like, and probably the benefactor of that little touch.
It's another in-swinger, although it'll be played short this time. Now played towards the top of the area. Comes in low. Fontana, he really wants it, and it's out of play. Another deflection on it. It's another corner kick. Getting a heat check territory here for Fontana, but he's got to connect on one here. Fontana so far this season with 2 goals. Spent some time in the Netherlands after spending almost 9 years with Philadelphia Union, second team, and the Academy. A good talent, Fontana, to bring in here to Colorado Springs. Herman, in-swinger again, hand of the way at the near post. Fontana to retrieve. Floated out wide, Herman. Herman gets by one, still coming infield, lips it in, the header is down and off the crossbar, and now it's collected by Thompson. Twice off the woodwork tonight for the Switchbacks.
That's really well done by Quincy Herman on the far side to keep this alive. Thought he actually let the window close here when he beats him to the byline. Release it now, he pump fakes, but as he does it, he gets lucky off the bounce that allows that space just inside the 6 to open up, and there's a 3 now, 32 minutes in, where they've been denied by the post.
I think 2 crossbars, 1 post. Is that where we're at now?
I feel like they should make a game out of it.
Played in behind. Here they go again. Hanya lays this one off. Foster lifts the cross in. It's dug out and taken there at the top of the area. Michael Adidokun plays it forward. Epps just trying to hold the ball up here for Lexington. And finally the whistle comes. I think Jafal wanted to play the advantage. Referee wasn't having it. His play will be stopped momentarily. again, it feels sort of like the playbook from a week ago for Lexington. This is a team that really likes to have the ball well over 50% possession, but a week ago, it was not that. They were highly outpossessed by New Mexico.
The one thing I would say within that, and you're spot on, is that they didn't allow this many quality opportunities to New Mexico.
Well, they're going to get another quality opportunity here, although that is not the cross from Alfredo Midense that Lexington was looking for. Kind of a wasted opportunity there. It was wide open. That's another warning sign for Colorado Springs.
There's some false confidence here by Isaiah Foster. I don't necessarily blame him, but it's got to be a better conversation about that space just in front of him. If you notice right near the bottom middle side of your screen, Midense's made his home there. He's narrowed his run just a little bit. Now they want Xavier Zenge to get high, but Isaiah Foster feels like he can jump a little bit. That's all about the work rate by Jago and Epps in front as well, dragging that back line a little bit further away. That forces Mahoney and Tyler Clegg to chase the far side of the field, allows Midense to step into the space.
Jago chasing this down. He'll get there at the end line. Midense slipped at the top of the area. Epps. A bit too much there from Marcus Epps. Whistle, and it'll be a foul. Just about 10 minutes to go in this first half. Lexington getting the lead through Forster Jago. Their loanee they brought in from Real Salt Lake. Xavier Zenge on the assist. That was in the 13th minute. Really, more of the opportunities in this game have come for the Switchbacks. Throw-in going the way of Colorado Springs right here as well.
This is where, you know, if you kind of look up towards that center circle, better job defensively by Lexington. If you watch Marcus Epps and Jago, they're not playing as high, so as they condense the midfield, that's where the bread and butter is going to be for Colorado Springs. They want to work you in to sort of compress it like a heart and then push back to the outside to allow those overlaps. They haven't been able to work through. So as they do that, they immediately have to go to the touchline. They're getting themselves in more one-on-ones like this.
This cross comes in, nobody there at the back post.
The problem is they don't have that then high line of pressure that we talk about where you get that prototypical striker. This is where you have to have a better understanding from your Anthony Fontana, Juan Tejadas, even Zandy. When they start to push high on those late runs, they've got to make them a bit sooner. If it pushes into the channel, you got to get into the box sooner because the space is available, the timing's just off.
Talked about Lexington and the time it took for their attack to really mold and come together. Might we be seeing something similar now with Colorado Springs, although they're doing it mid-season because of a change. This is looping out wide again, and more space opening up down this near side. Midense again, coming in, right on Foster. Back towards the top of the area, Jafal. Back to the near side, Hafferty. Midense. Lexington will elect to keep the ball with Zenge. Again, Hafferty. And dart in fields. Zenge. And a foul here, and a bit of a needless one as well. Anthony Fontana. No yellow card, but a free kick.
You can question depth, you can question quality, but overall decision-making is certainly where James Chambers is going to share some frustration in the halftime conversation, both going forward on the defensive recovery. Everything set to perfection. Just unnecessary contact that is now gifted at least a half look here for Lexington. Keep an eye at Forster, Jago, and Marcus Epps. They can really fly throughout the air. The timing by Jago is something that has really taken steps, come leaps and bounds since his time at Duke University, his final senior season. The physical ability to really challenge any marker on that left shoulder of his.
Quickly, the service is taken, flick to the back post, the header, saved, the rebound is in! This goal will not count. Sargent looked to the AR immediately after that went in, and hands went to his head.
It's tight, certainly. Watch the top side of your screen. It's the second ball right there. I got to tell you, that is very difficult to tell as to whether or not he's in an offside position. That's Kendall Bergs who gets the redirect back across the 6, but given this fact that we don't have VAR and the angle on the actual ball coming square across the 18, very difficult to see as to whether or not it was an actual infraction. Sigh of relief, certainly, for the visitors.
And a yellow card also given out here. Sofiane Jafal into the book for Lexington. The first yellow card handed out by Alex Billiter this evening.
I would argue it's another silly mistake. We just had one on the opposite end from Anthony Fontana. Now Sofiane Jafal. No need to step. You're almost in a lose-lose in that situation. You pick up a card on the challenge overall, and even if you find some sort of way to get there, I would say the angle that he's coming in 9 times out of 10, it's either going to be a foul or he's going to get turned. This is part of those growing pains that you're going through, right? I talked about rhythm, establishing it with some new faces. Certainly first choice selection within a back four that seems to be almost sharpied into a team sheet right now for Terry Boss, but guys in front of him, Medense just coming into the group, Adedokun and Forster Jago, that initial line of pressure that really dictates what the midfield is going to look like, what course of action comes next.
Oh, good move down the line. Adedokun. Will be Akeem Ward into the book.
Fancy moves. Michael Adedokun wants to cut it on the right, but really good with his hips as quickly as he opens them up. This guy's going to be something special at the pro level, and certainly Lexington could be the immediate benefactor. One of just 4 players at the NCAA level last year that had at least 8 goals and also at least 10 assists to his name. Mac Herman Award winner. That's the best collegiate soccer player in the country. Drafted 13th overall, and now a chance as a loanee to really find his footing in the professional ranks.
On loan from Montreal, played his college soccer at Dayton and Ohio State. Finished with Brian Masonoff. Taking in fields, going low, and it's scooped up here by Herrera. Again, that's Adedokun, who is making his presence felt on that left side. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Another whistle here and a free kick going to Lexington. Colorado Springs all of a sudden bit up against it.
A bit surprised, to be fair, that it took 42 minutes for you to get an Indiana reference.
There you go. Had to.
I expected more from you. Quincy Herman. Never had to face that at University of North Carolina, the Hoosiers. Of course, Masonoff, former Indian Hoosier himself, former coach of Adedokun. The initial pressure there is on that man. Yep. Kieran Sargent picks up a yellow card for his efforts. Yeah, they've struggled, certainly, with as much as they want to try and play in those narrow channels to allow the overloads on the outside. You know, the fluctuation within what I call a midfield 4, because there's just so much rotation. Fontana, Tejada, Zandy, and then Aiden Rocha.
Wide again. Dancing on the ball. Epps lays it off. Ensei, Sargent, Adedokun. High lofted ball, back post, not essentially. Tejada up for it, and he's fouled. Firmino going into that aerial duel with Juan Tejada. Just 3 shots in this game for Lexington. They've scored on one of them, 2 of those shots on target. 9 for the Switchbacks. They have not found the target of goal as of yet, although they have hit the woodwork multiple times. Here's Mahoney as the Switchbacks look to finish this half strong. That's not going to get it done. Straight out of play. The Switchbacks have wanted to come down this left side quite a bit in this game, but it has dried up here in the last few minutes. So here, another free kick on the way for Lexington. And free kick nearly proved fruitful moments ago. The offside flag up, denying what would have been a second Lexington goal. And now a yellow card is handed out. Yosuke Hanya into the book. Loney from the Colorado Rapids, just delaying the restart. Chambers not in agreement with that one.
I don't necessarily think that was Gaelic coming out of his mouth either.
It's an in-swinging ball. Just couldn't beat the first man as we are into stoppage time. 2 minutes of Tiger Balm stoppage time. It'll be a long throw on the way here for Lexington. Going to act as another set piece. Kendall Burks coming over. Burks coming over from San Antonio. Long throw here, gets it into the box. Tejada up for it again. Not one of the tallest players on the field. He's got into a couple of aerial duels here the last few minutes. Epps does well. Here's Medense now. Played down the line again. Here come Lexington once more. Didokun gets the cross away. Back post, knotted down. Ajago's there. Lays it off again, and the shot's off the crossbar. 3 total crossbars in this game. And Lexington denied a second once again. Now it's Colorado Springs trying to come back the other way. Great first touch by Hanya. Now he has some work to do. He lays it off again. Hanya gets it back. Trying to go to work. The switch of play. Good back post run. Ehrman saved. Thompson back in the middle. Fontana out of play. A number of big chances for the Switchbacks. And still a big goose egg on the scoreboard. And that is the end of this first half. Great end-to-end action to end this first 45 minutes. And yet, it is Lexington with the only goal in this game. Forster Ajago, the Real Salt Lake Loney getting on the board. And it's the newcomers to the USL Championship that have have the lead over the defending champions. At the break from Kentucky, it's Lexington 1, Colorado Springs 0. Stay tuned for halftime. We'll take you around the USL Championship. Halftime from Lexington SC Stadium here in Lexington, Kentucky. It is Lexington 1, Colorado Springs 0 through 45 minutes. A very fun game. It's been back and forth so far here in Lexington. With Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern. Busy times in the USL Championship. Getting into the summer, we're starting to get a better picture of where things lie, but we're also getting a better picture of what the future looks like in the USL Championship. The news and notes presented by Tiger Balm. Well, the Cotton Bowl's already been in use in the USL Super League with Dallas Trinity. Now it'll be used in the USL Championship. Atletico Dallas kicking off that inaugural season in 2027. And then a couple of big European names, Aston Villa and Eintracht Frankfurt, heading to Louisville for a couple of friendlies at the end of July. And speaking of Louisville City, it's been a great start to the season for Louisville and Danny Cruz. But does this team have what it takes to finally win that title?
I'm assuming this conversation is behind closed doors and going nowhere, right? The answer is yes. It's not even a question. This Louisville City team has such good charisma about them. They have balance. And I think the biggest thing to me is the change in their identity. This team last year was all about the attack, Josh. 100 miles an hour from start to finish, setting individual records within a season, within the organization, and the second best attacking season we've seen all time. But they had to change that. So now defensively, you are looking at a stout team. but also alongside the personal ambition. Danny Cruz has coached and won, set and broken more records than any of his predecessors have. This is about them trying to accomplish the feat that they haven't been able to do since 2018. Put another title up on the mantle. The legacy only lives on if you continue to create from within.
Yeah. Halftime from Lexington. We got the balloons out tonight, the soccer head balloons. Oh, and then we got some fun hats as well. Lexington's having a lot of fun. They have a 1-0 lead at the break over the defending champion Colorado Springs Switchbacks. With Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us, the USL, here on ESPN2. A fun first half here in Lexington, the first ever meeting between these two sides. And Lexington, they were up against it early, but they found that breakthrough.
We have to give them credit, right? I mean, this team had a response. You know, they are built on character. I'll give them that over the past two matches. But I think you have to start with Colorado Springs and how good they were on the attacking side of the ball. This team came out immediately, a lot of pressure, a lot of intensity, and played the game up high. It would eventually get themselves into trouble, but it did create three separate opportunities in the opening 13 minutes. I want to look at two of them because of the way that they attack. So we talk about them attacking from outside in. Great job on the inversion by the wings, but he doesn't force it here, Yosuke Hanya. Instead, he allows his outside back to get up high. You see strength in numbers, 6 separate bodies inside the top of the 18 as an option. 3 minutes later, even though that one goes wide, similar type of movement that ends up in a dead ball situation. Anthony Fontana stings the upper 90 in this one. Nothing the goalkeeper do but breathe a sigh of relief on the back end. So we talked about how aggressive they want to be. They want to attack from the outside. Even though it's off a slip here, the turnover. That's really the first time we saw bite within the midfield for Lexington. Nick Firmino, as he comes up high, doesn't try and do anything fancy. Let the ball do the work for you. 30-yard ball down into the corner. Zenge, smart. He's got his head up the whole way, surveying the field. Allows the back line to draw into him. Creates space on the back post run. And hard to argue there's anyone better in professional rankings right now. And I'll give you more about that in the second half at timing for goals inside the top of the 18.
38th minute, chances would continue. And this one, oh so close.
The second best opportunity they had, but it still wasn't enough from him. It's an offside ball to the backside where Kieran Sargent gets himself into trouble, actually comes off of Kendall Burks. You know, I talked about the start, Josh, for Colorado Springs. Someone's going to have to explain to me how you hit the target 3 separate times. There's only 1 shot on target. So everybody at home recognized that they did test the goalkeeper. This was a difficult first half here for Brooks Thompson. I like the way they attacked. I like the way they made Lexington that whole backline move and, you know, just in front of them. The problem here was balance. There wasn't enough communication. When they tried to be aggressive, they didn't have the complement coming the other way. Credit to the patience by Lexington to absorb that much pressure and then counter in their finite moments.
A fun first 45 minutes between Lexington and Colorado Springs. The newcomers to the league in Lexington giving the defending champs all they can handle. We'll have the second half of Lexington and the Switchbacks coming up. Getting set for the second 45 minutes of action tonight from Lexington, Kentucky. Forster Ajago's goal is the difference through that first half. Lexington leads Colorado Springs 1-0 as we get set to start this second half. A fun back and forth first 45 minutes. The woodwork hit on multiple occasions. And what now will this second half bring? Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Easter, and thanks so much for being with us tonight. Another edition of the USL on ESPN. There is the whistle. We're underway. 45 more minutes to go between Lexington and Colorado Springs. Teams will switch ends, and already it's the Switchbacks getting right into the attack. Quincy Herman coming forward. Herman weaving. Herman shooting. Deflected into the middle. The cleanup is saved off the line, and then it's off the crossbar again. The chaos continues in Lexington.
I'm not sure you could ask for a better start if you're James Chambers. Great work underneath by Juan Tejada. Back to goal. The Panamanian immediately to work, and Quincy Herman actually gets the angle wrong a little bit. He wants this down and tries to cut in early, and instead good recovery to get it back on the right side. He can't get it on that favored left foot. But as he drags here, watch the trailing runs. Really good job. The late box entries for Colorado Springs is something that has certainly benefited them. Lady luck, though, has certainly not.
And still not a shot on target, Devin.
Appreciate you bringing that up.
Of course. Both teams hitting the woodwork in the first half. Colorado Springs on multiple occasions, and they continue to do so. Only scored once last week. It was from a Marco Micheletto free kick in that 1-0 win against the Oakland Roots and new head coach Benny Feilhaber. Play over the top again. And Herrera will see this one out of play.
And recognizing that certainly they haven't been able to get the equalizer. Colorado Springs really efficient and their attack moving forward. Shots to shots on target. The best in the land right now is the Charleston Battery, right around 35% of their opportunities actually making its way to the 8x8. If you include the balls that have hit the post tonight, 6 of the 14 for Colorado Springs have nearly tickled the nylon. Much better overall in quality of chance that they've been able to create in front of goal.
And they pretty much picked up right where they left off. Now Lexington will get a turn looking forward. Hafferty driving forward, plays this into the middle. Epps popped up on him. Zenge trying to chase after it, went shoulder to shoulder into that challenge with Hanya. And the pressure on. Zenge trying to win this back. Lexington do get it back, but only momentarily. Now Foster trying to clear. That clearance is deflected. Comes through the middle. And Lexington will reset. Sargent is taking too long on the ball, turned over. And now Herman gets onto it. Moved ahead for Tejada. Back for Herman. Looking for space in the middle, and the Switchbacks will pass that ball around quickly to keep possession. Zandy. A whistle here. It's a free kick on the way. Udense, former USL League One Young Player of the Year, he gets caught up in this challenge.
I don't think there's marking it here for a little bit of contact that Aiden Rocho is able to draw. It's good tracking by Udense. You know, defensively struggled a little bit in that first half. The amount of bodies that he has to cover, the odometer following in tow.
And the set piece, in swinging ball. Get it away and out of play. A throw-in coming for the Switchbacks yet again. Keeping their foot on the gas, trying to find that equalizer and break through. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Clegg tries to switch the point of attack, didn't get enough on that. It'll be a throw-in going the way of Lexington. Already 5 minutes gone in this second half. Colorado Springs have already hit the woodwork. We've seen a decent opportunity build itself for Lexington. These teams are going at it here tonight, even though we've only seen one goal.
I'm just still not the biggest a fan right now of what we've seen from them centrally, you know, recognizing that they do understand, Josh, exactly when to step forward. That's only at the benefit of the aggression that Colorado Springs is showing them. It's not exactly like they're breaking this team down right now. Now, good news is 51 minutes in, it's 1-0. This could also be a 3-1 or even 3-0 game, if not for Colorado Springs overstepping some of their movements going forward. I'd like to see a bit more work underneath between Marcus Epps and Ajago to continue to eliminate some of these ball movements through the middle. You keep this game on the outside, I do think it benefits Lexington. The problem is being able to replicate that over and over and over again has been quite difficult.
Switchbacks looking to build forward again. Anya getting into trouble. The deflection will take this one to the far side. Switchbacks will reset again with Herrera at the back. Keem Ward. So his name taken in that first half as he brings it in field. Herman took too long to turn. Lexington trying to find space through the middle. That comes off the referee, Alex Billiter. It'll be a drop ball on the way.
Carter.
You ever keep one in your sock just for fun?
Well, you know, funny enough, the best card story that I have, and they sure are plenty, is actually something that I didn't actually catch an infraction or whistle for. I know this is hard to believe. I had some behavioral issues in high school on the field.
Okay.
At one point in time, my high school coach sat me down with my parental units, we'll say, and said, listen, we got to do a better job of keeping you on the field. You have to make better decisions.
Clegg needed to make a better decision there. Here's Ajago. One-on-one with Clegg. This will be brought into the corner. The play and a throw and back to the Switchbacks.
So within all of that, it was basically, you know, you need to close your mouth a little bit. Again, I know a very difficult concept to understand for you. But one of my good buddies at that point in time made me a red card that had my name on it. And he jokingly said, in your first college game, just walk up to the ref, hand it to him, and say, you're probably going to need this later on in the match. So before
you on the referee's good side.
I would never have done so, but before my manager could even do so, he actually took it out of my bag and said, you're not going to be needing this today. So
Dito Kun is brought down. Won't be a red card, but it will be a foul here on Clegg. Free kick on the way for Lexington.
This is probably an area, if you're Terry Boss, you're asking your team to just try to attack a little bit more. And it's not because of the high line of Keem Ward. Tyler Clegg has struggled a little bit with his spacing. When to step, when to stay. You know exactly what it's going to look like next to Matt Mahoney. He's trying to figure out, you know, exactly what the tempo looks like for this team right now. They are playing a little bit different distribution-wise, keeping the ball on the deck a bit more than trying to play into that target high up top that, really for the majority of it, was first choice selection Justin Dillon, no longer with the club, separated just a couple of days ago.
Dito, one of those standing around this. It's all to Dito, drives it in the middle. The header away. Chip back up towards the penalty spot. The header is on target, but taken by Herrera. Here's Juan Tejada. We've seen him all over the field tonight, Tejada. Leads in the build-up here. Ward. Quincy Herman into space for Fontana. He's had his shooting boots tonight. Herman, end line, out of play. And for Quincy Herman, that's going to be the last touch of the game for him. And an unfortunate end. He knows right away that he's coming out. It will be Levante Johnson to take his place.
It's a special opportunity for Colorado Springs to get the services back of that man right there. The Ontario native, unique journey in terms of his development. 4 years at the collegiate level, 4 different universities, including his final year at Syracuse, All-ACC, All-American. Mac Herman, runner-up. We talked about Adedokin as the best collegiate player in the country. He finished second back in 2022. Most importantly, won a national championship at speed, and his ability to stretch the back line is something you want to keep an eye on.
Johnson coming over from Vancouver, where he spent a couple of years with the first and second teams. Adedokin dancing on the ball. Switch of play. Quick passing here from Lexington. Cut back as it slipped forward, put in front and turned in. It's an own goal. Lexington grab a second. They've been knocking on the door, and it's 2-0.
A smart, quick service from Joe Hafferty as the ball makes its way to the far side of the field. No gimmicks, just quick distribution to open up the width of the field. Notice the head scanning. He allows the ball to move out as he does those. Far side of the field, and then this becomes a waterfall effect where you're reactionary as opposed to having the opportunity to set yourself defensively and then go attack. One after another. The trickle continues. The gap widens, as does the scoreline. Excellent second goal by Lexington.
The build-up was brilliant. The final touch, though, was not by a Lexington player. It was Tyler Clegg. As the smoke is released here at Lexington SC Stadium. Just waiting on the whistle to restart play. Tyler Clegg, who after leaving the Portland Timbers and Portland Timbers 2 over the last couple of years, joined up with Sacramento Republic at the start of this season, made 1 appearance for the club, played 6 minutes against the Switchbacks, and now here he is with the Switchbacks, this being his 3rd appearance with the club. And now Colorado Springs, it's hard to want to change things because they've gotten in good areas. They've hit the woodwork 3 times, and that they have nothing to show for it. That's ultimate frustration. Taken away again. Firmino not on the same page as Jago. It slipped out wide. Levante Johnson plays it towards the top of the area. Laid off for Rocha. Now Fontana. Fontana chips it up, and he slipped. I think that hit his plant leg as it caroms out of play. And Lexington, they haven't had the quantity of chances that the Switchbacks have had tonight, but they have taken care of their opportunities as this ball is just played right through the middle. Lexington looking for 2 straight wins on the heels of a 13-game winless run in all competitions. That was 8 losses and 5 draws. Their last win before the New Mexico win last week was all the way back in March against Southern Indiana in the US Open Cup. It had been a while since this team had tasted victory. Pressure from behind. Jafal absorbs it and keeps it moving. And a good ball out into space. Zenge leading the charge. Options in the middle. This one laid off. Coming infield again. Quick passing. It's Epps, and he skies it. It looked promising there for Lexington, but not able to really find a tangible end product.
That certainly could have been 3-0 if the initial decision was a bit better. I love this touch right here. 20 yards and the ability for Zenge to maintain top end speed, but that touch right there needed to be ball service into the 18, Josh. Had a joggle on the near post run. Marks had actually spun off to the backside of the 18. Two separate options, and instead the bite of the apple is much smaller than anticipated.
Tejada tries to lay this one off as the switchbacks coming right back into the attack. It's cleared away. Ward got a touch on it. And it's right back at the feet of Lexington. Turned over. Vontae Johnson hesitates. He's able to hold on to possession. Johnson goes for that near post into side netting, but that's a little bit of what he can bring to this game for Colorado Springs.
You got to get him healthy first and foremost, but that low center of gravity and his physical ability to just manhandle you pushes him right off this ball. That's what this is all about. His footing not the greatest here, and as he tries to work it back in, Nick Firmino off balance. Really good on the cut back to the inside, but good pressure up high. Just keep an eye here, the way that they're trying to deploy them defensively. That front line, and now it doesn't matter who's located in the center portion of this conversation, but the outside, they're trying to push some of the pressure to the interior. What they want is their midfielders to jump up high. The problem is they're reacting a little bit slow, and that's what has opened up a couple of these sequences for Lexington in transition, namely that ball immediately that went to the far side of the field. They're playing through the 6, and really good job outlet balls from the home team.
That'll be a yellow card. Or will it? It was earlier. Well, that's an interesting one there from Alex Bilder. That same exact situation in the first half was a yellow card going the other way to Colorado Springs. Here, it is not. Play continues on. Yellow card in the first half to Yosuke Hanya. Zandy lifts in behind. Right into the path of Levante Johnson. Tries to bring it centrally, and it's broken up again by Kendall Burks. Jago brought down. Free kick. If you can't watch the match, shown on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Joe Hafferty on the show this past week.
He's kind enough to join us and talk his journey. Interesting for someone at such a young age who has experienced so much success that the destinations have continued to change every single season, right? He was with Terry Boss at Oregon State, part of that club that had the #1 overall national ranking, the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Gets drafted. His rights go back to his hometown club of Seattle, and then as he tries to find his way, ends up in Austin, wins the MLS Next Pro Cup, ends up in Las Vegas, second biggest point turnaround in league history, trailing only the Charleston Battery of 2023 that fell in the final. Of course, Vegas falling in the West, and now to upstart Lexington, who are trying to make waves in the Western Conference, slowly moving themselves up. Said, yeah, it's all part of it. It was part of the plan. I'm like, yeah, sure was, man.
Somebody's plan.
You knew exactly where you were going. But regardless of stops, he's been a good player. Outside back, you know, one of those rotating center backs, depending on how you deploy him. Doesn't really matter who's around him personnel-wise. Really good control of his own game.
There is Hafferty. Good reaction to that. But you notice all of those stops. Las Vegas made the playoffs. You mentioned Austin won MLS Next Pro Cup. Tacoma, since they've come into MLS Next Pro, they've made the playoffs every year. Let's see what happens here at Lexington.
Just want to know who's in charge of the fresh fade.
It's nice. It's a good one.
Hafferty's got that up-out fade. Nice barber work.
Montana out of play. Be a corner kick on the way now for the Switchbacks as they look for a way back into this game. Another corner kick on the way for the Switchbacks. Aiden Rocha lifts it in, back post. Johnson, closest one to it. It'll be chased down in the corner. And nothing doing. Zenge got caught. Johnson coming in field. Johnson went down maybe a little bit too easy for the referee's liking as this is played in an open field. Herrera has it covered and calmly keeps possession. Foster letting everybody just reset here momentarily. Hanya, the underlap of Akeem Ward, his cross towards the top of the area and kind of on the half step, this one out of play. Not a terrible opportunity by Levante Johnson.
That was a shot from that voice, by the way. That big loud yell you heard, that's James Chambers, and his wording was, get into the box. Notice as he picks his head up here, he's got to wait. He's got to wait because no one's there. You didn't have a single body anywhere near the top of the six. Anthony Fontana late coming into the picture. The chance actually comes from the top side of the 18.
Subs on the way. A couple of subs here. Matt Real, Jonas Fjellberg will come on. Isaiah Foster, Zach Zandy making way. And fresh legs here for the final quarter of this game, which the Switchbacks, no choice but to go for it. Change it outside back and some fresh legs in the midfield as well. Moved out wide. Nidokun getting a touch onto it. Now can he keep it in play? Cross comes in and the shot's over the bar. Nick Firmino with the opportunity for Lexington.
Another really good quick outlet here from Nick Firmino. He was the one who released the opening goal down into the corner. And this touch around him, that is something special from Adedokan. That ball was out, by the way. Looked to be over the end line. Doesn't matter either way this ball ends up, but again, really good release by Lexington. The more that I watch this team, Josh, the more I'm starting to feel that if they can really establish themselves defensively as a dominant force, and to be clear, although there's a 0 up on the scoreboard, they have conceded a plethora of chances. But they are very good allowing the field to open itself up and step into the space, as opposed to almost death by 1,000 touches that we saw in opening 10 games or so, where they wanted to keep control, move side to side, slowly work it down in. Much better in transitional moments, going with speed end to end.
Montana back on his feet and ready to come back on at the next possible moment. It'll be a drop ball to get things back underway. Here's Sargent. Denoka now. Hafferty trying to play in behind for Strajago. Challenge put in. Referee points to the ball, and it's a play on for Lexington. Here's Zenge. Mahoney right there defensively. Zenge. And touched away. Fjellberg. Throw-in coming for Colorado Springs, and now the first two subs of the game coming for Lexington. Jacob Green and Speedy Williams entering this game. Alfredo Midense and Nick Firmino will be the two players coming out. Williams, a former USL Championship Best 11 player, also playing against his former club. Spent the last couple of years with Colorado Springs, winning the title a year ago. And Jacob Green, formerly with Columbus Crew 2 and Loudoun United. This has to be kind of fun for Speedy Williams, though.
It's a solid shift from Nick Firmino. I'd argue that he was probably the best player in a Lexington jersey. Just run out of steam at the end here and trying to also lock down some of these central spots, an area that Terry Boss feels like they've had to lead on veteran experience a bit more. Speedy Williams certainly will be at the forefront of that conversation. 4 USL Championship titles to his name, most all-time. 3 separate teams, only player to ever do that as well. Most recently with Colorado Springs, and just as clean as he can be on the ball. Slow this game down a little bit in the final 20 minutes to start to kill it off.
Clegg lifts out wide. Another cross in. It's another header away. Ward. Sargent sweeps away. A little bit of contact from behind. Fontana and Williams goes down. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Friday night in the USL Championship, one of 3 total games going on. And how about this as it's turned over as Loudoun and Louisville both losing, as this is put into the middle. Big save, and the rebound is wide. And again, it won't happen for the Switchbacks. Brooks Thompson denies.
That's a good high line of pressure, and more importantly, on the turnover, you have personnel in areas you can actually attack. Yeah, the shout moments ago was get in the box, get bodies in the box here. Well done by Levante Johnson. He's not on a diagonal trying to get him behind, instead allows the work to be done. Down in the channel. Good ball back across. Just trying to find that seam between the center backs.
Rocha, outswinger, heads go up. Fjellberg puts it in a good area, and it's buried. The captain, Matt Mahoney, getting on the end of it, and the Switchbacks are in it. It's 2-1.
A recycled set piece here, and this was about not clearing the lines. As the ball comes back out, what's the defensive pressure, or lack thereof? Everybody stands to allow the second ball to come back in. Stands idly by, I might add. Matt Mahoney, one of the best in the business defensively last year, trying to find form, and just that little pocket that opens up. Cannot allow a free chance like this for a man like that to draw within 1, and hope restored for Colorado Springs.
Didn't matter who for the Switchbacks, they just needed a goal, and they turn to their captain and center back, Matt Mahoney. Second goal of the year for Mahoney. It's his 10th professional goal, but right back the other way, Marcus Epps. He sails out of play. It looked like he slipped down again.
How's the shout, by the way? Again, the loudest voice in this stadium. James Chambers immediately to his soldiers. This is where they fall. This is where they crumble. Communication to maintain this positive momentum that has been, to be fair, attacking wise, hasn't really been an issue for Colorado Springs. It's their inability to then get out of their own way, coming the other direction.
Jago turns it right over into the final 15 minutes tonight from Lexington. And all of a sudden, this is right there for the taking for either side. Clegg tries to play in behind. Monte Johnson couldn't collect and out of play. Now after that goal, the Switchbacks have to feel at least a little bit of confidence. They can go on and try to find another and find something out of this game. Pressure again, making it difficult for Lexington to play forward. Colorado Springs trying to pick off a ball and go quick. That was some of those fresh legs on the front line. Fjellberg and Johnson able to do that a little bit more often. Lexington now looking at playing behind. Didokun couldn't quite get on his foot. Now he does, and he goes for the quick strike. Blocked by Ward and out for Lexington corner. This will be the first corner kick of the game for Lexington. Didokun drives it near post. Couldn't beat the first man in Hanya. Sargent plays in behind of Hanya. Dito again. This time, block from Matt Mahoney. Corner kick prevented, and a throw into the Switchbacks. Big moment that we could look back on these last couple minutes. Lexington have had some good chances, have not been able to extend that lead back out to 2 goals. Didokun trying to secure things in the middle of the park now. His fresh legs coming off the bench. Sargent dancing on the ball under some pressure from Tejada. Lexington forced all the way back into their defensive half. Here's Williams. Releases everyone over the top. Looked like an offside trap trying to be played. Herrera came up with an important intervention. Now the Switchbacks can drive forward and room to run into. Fjellberg tries to cut it back, lifts it in. Jafal the header away. Jago got enough on it to help keep possession. Now Jacob Green. To find space. He slips down and out of play. Right through the middle, chested down, and now on the turn. Didokun is giving Ward all he can handle on this side. Didokun tries to get the better of Ward, but that's a great defensive play by the veteran. Tejada absorbs some contact from behind, but carries on. Fontana Moves it out wide. Both teams getting chances. Cross lifted in, taken by Thompson.
I go back to that volley by Forster Jago. You have to understanding that this ball's hit just outside the box, and the way that he comes in, full volley, I mean, there's way too much pace. The bravery that you have to have here for Chris Herrera, I mean, that is some set of aggression that he possesses. He was not the first choice, even though he took him to the final last year. Abraham Romero, the loanee from the Columbus Crew, was, and they presented him with a real challenge, said, we're gonna give you this chance, but what are you gonna do with it? Well, 4 shutouts and 6 coming into this match in all competitions.
Oh, that's sweet from Jafal. Now the layup ball, and this shot is wide. Green had the chance this time for Lexington.
When they go look through video, Colorado Springs, this is gonna be about, if you're gonna play the high line, how you chase when you start to turn your shoulders, but then also once you try and reset, you have to be better moving horizontally. They want to come high, they want to play in the vertical method, but as you start to shift side to side, they're getting way too flat. That's allowing all of these runners from Lexington to sneak in behind and open up these chances.
USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Mention the game coming up next week on ESPN2. Indy against Tampa Bay. Here comes Lexington forward again. Marcus Epps tries to let it run through. Adito Kun the extra touch. Adito Kun! It's saved! And the Switchbacks stay in this game.
This is smart by a young but seasoned pro. Watch his head. He lures Matt Mahoney into it to allow that space to continue over. What a dummy by the smart IQ of Marcus Epps atop the box just to allow this to come back through. Adidokan nearly finishes this game off. Way too many bodies, to be fair. Probably could have hit it first time if you want to be nitpicky. But this team just continues to create high-quality chances in transitional moments.
Couple of subs here. Marco Rios and Charlie Adams. There'll also be one sub coming for Lexington momentarily. One of the players coming off is Anthony Fontana. Almost a crime that he did not get a goal tonight. Yosuke Hanya will also be exiting. So the last 2 subs of the game for the Switchbacks. Also be Gaël Gibert to enter the game. French defender, another Oregon State product as well. Sargent to exit for Lexington. Now the corner kick. A lot of air underneath this one, and no nonsense at the back post from Matt Real. Another corner kick coming. There is Gaël Gibert. Defensive reinforcements coming into this game for Lexington. Driven ball on the corner kick this time. Real helps get it away. Nobody there in a blue shirt to go and retrieve it. Speedy Williams. Here's Epps dancing on the ball, lifting it back post. Jafal! Wasn't far away. And in these final 5 minutes, Lexington unable to find that extra tally to give him some insurance. Fjellberg loses this one out of play. Rafferty wants a dry soccer ball. Not going to get it. It's nearly turned over. We'll have another one, although he's not going to use this soccer ball.
I got to wonder, with the fresh legs of Levante Johnson and Marco Rios, Fjellberg, you could add into that conversation as high as Lexington are willing to play this game right now, albeit possessionally oriented, way much more so than we've seen all night long. You wonder if the narrative starts to flip itself where Colorado Springs can catch them on a counter. Haven't really been able to establish themselves up high in dominant possessional moments. I wouldn't fight it right now, Josh. I think you have the ability with Lexington feeling comfortable on the ball, almost reverting back to their own ways to take advantage of it.
Rafferty able to keep this in play. Rafferty continues on. Forster and Jago, the extra pass. Sofian Jafal. Shot wide again. Lexington can't find a third goal, but they're also not allowing Colorado Springs to get much time on the ball going forward either, although they do get it back here. Real tries to go quick over the top. There's one blue shirt amongst three black ones. Tejada. Fjellberg. Going to beat Green for pace to the end line. Not going to happen. Swept clear out to midfield. Late stages here in Lexington. Didokun tracking back. What a performance he's put on tonight. Only thing that's missing is a goal for him, and he's taken off the ball here. Here's the experience of Charlie Adams. Tejada again back for Ward. Switchbacks looking to find an avenue forward. Clegg. Goal scorer Mahoney. Johnson lays it off. Matt Real. Real sends this out of play. Nothing doing for the Switchbacks. Lexington just looking to try to close this one out. So a couple of other games going on around the USL Championship tonight. Hartford is beating Loudoun 3-0. North Carolina and Louisville tied at 1-1. Both those right around the hour mark. Loudoun and Louisville, two teams that they're two of the top three teams in the Eastern Conference, at least to start the night. Player down. That'll be the end of the night for Sofian Jafal. It'll be Edre Caceres to come into this game, the 23-year-old out of Marquette. Big East all-second team player.
And nothing left in the tank for that man right there, Sofian Jafal. He and Nick Firmino and Acreage covered tonight in the engine room. A couple of good balls going forward. I think he's starting to really find his footing in the engine room.
5 minutes of stoppage time is presented by Tiger Balm. Colorado Springs trying to push forward and find an equalizer tonight. Hit the woodwork numerous occasions. There's Ward to lift it in. The flicked header by Tejada. Got up for it, not able to direct it on target. Lexington just a little bit closer now to finding back-to-back wins. This was a team that in all competitions started 2-0-2. 2-0 win in their first game of the championship against Hartford. Got that win in the Open Cup as well. Then it was 3 straight losses, which started that long run of winless form. A couple of wins in a row could really start to right this ship, and it would be just 1 point between these two sides at night's end if this scoreline holds. Here come the Switchbacks. Looking for one final push. Tyler Clegg. Pass disposed of. Straight out of play. Ward gets it rolling again. 3 minutes to go tonight from Lexington. Adams. It's by Caceres, although Caceres came from behind and picked his pocket. Flag is up on Forster Jago. Everybody back behind the ball at the moment for Lexington. Trying to preserve this 2-1 advantage. They led 2-0. Switchbacks got one back. Fjellberg looks to touch it in behind, gets around Hafferty. The cross out in front. A slight touch on it by Thompson. That was enough to let his teammate clear it away. Didokun is fouled. And a free kick going back to Lexington with 2 minutes to go.
Feel like there have been some really good movements here for Colorado Springs, specifically with this man right here, Levante Johnson. Feel like he's starting to find some real momentum up high. Akeem Ward has come to life on the near touchline, and again, I don't really think you have an argument here if you're James Chambers in terms of overall creation. It has faded as the game has gone on. But the amount of times that you've hit the posts, the quality of opportunity, the best I've seen out of them all season long. The problem is the complement just hasn't been there defensively, Josh. Just way too many moments where their heads have dropped, too much space available to the opponent, and Lexington happy to step in.
Mahoney turns it over, and now Mahoney slips. Lexington trying to put this one away. And the decision is a very, very smart one from Zenge. Takes it to the corner. Well, he's not able to hold it there for very long. Still, every second so precious. Colorado Springs maybe with one more big chance. Here's Clegg. Now Akeem Ward stepping forward. Ward lifts the cross in. Thompson trying to measure it. He's bumped by Tejada. Hafferty getting in his face. A yellow card to Juan Tejada.
And credit to Brooks Thompson, too. I mean, this is a big move. He knows the contact is going to be coming. Whether or not he can see the last little shimmy from Tejada is a different conversation. But understanding that in the dying moments of this game, the utmost bravery having to be extended here by their goalkeeper to secure what has to be back-to-back wins in league play for the first time in club history for Lexington.
Thompson sends it away. And that's full time. It is back-to-back wins for Terry Boss and Lexington SC. They are moving in the right direction. A Jago and an own goal are the two goals that are the difference tonight. And the MVP of the match, presented by Prinks Tires, is Forster Ajago. His goal got the scoring started tonight. We will come back and wrap things up after this. Lexington, the newcomers to the USL Championship, have back-to-back wins for the first time. They beat Colorado Springs by 2-1. We'll come back and wrap things up after this. Full-time, Lexington 2, Switchbacks 1. Full-time from Lexington. Lexington SC take down the Colorado Springs Switchbacks 2-1 tonight. First ever back-to-back wins for Lexington in the USL Championship. Highlights: Lexington, Colorado Springs, first ever meeting between the two sides. A beautiful night for soccer here in Kentucky. 13th minute. And this is when the scoring would get started. Xavier Zenge leading the charge.
Recognizing the amount of pressure that they had to withstand just to even get to this point, Josh. And they were pinned down in their own area. Nick Firmino, really good job, has the presence within the midfield, not only to win the initial ball, but then to set them and the counter-attacking moment down into the corner. Beautiful move by Zenge down in and across to Ajago. Now, as you fast forward into the second half, it was much of the same. A lot of side to side, a lot of stretching up top by Colorado Springs, touches in and around the box, but nothing really to show for it. As they got more adventurous, though, they started to get themselves into trouble. Space on the outside, unlocking even more centrally to allow the midfielders to come up high. The nines came in, own goal or not, that's really good ball movement, worked outside in by Lexington. Now a response from Colorado Springs. Again, hit the post 3 separate times. Really well done on the recycled set piece, just to maintain a body up high. But if you're Terry Boss, you're gonna walk into the locker room and say, that is unacceptable. You cannot allow that much space 10 yards and in with 15 minutes to go.
Then there would be some late opportunities. Lexington trying to restore that 2-goal advantage. Herrera with a big save there, and then the chances would continue.
I think we're still trying to see exactly what these relationships are going to look like, but you know, there are some key factors here. If it's Xavier Zenge, if it's Forsar Jago, if it's Michael Adedokan, the key thing isn't about talent. It's about familiarity. All of them already have experience together playing for Dayton at the collegiate level. Terry Boss recognizes that, and they paid their dividends on the attacking side. Now you find the complement defensively, you find success. The balance wasn't there overall on the night for them. They were a bit fortunate. But what's that old saying? Sometimes, plain and simple, it's better to be lucky than good. And Lexington needed a turn of luck in their favor. Back-to-back wins. First time in their club history.
In back-to-back times, they've been heavily outpossessed, and yet they're still in the win column. 2 in a row for Lexington. That'll do it for our coverage tonight from Lexington SC Stadium. For our entire crew and broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long from Lexington. Lexington wins it 2-1. More USL on ESPN action coming up on Wednesday. Tampa Bay will be hosting Indy 11. Good night from Lexington.